Hey guys, what's up? I'm Destiny. This is Monday Mail number 29. The first question this week comes from KenGriffeyJrJr. When you were deep into the StarCraft memes and traveling overseas to play, what was one opportunity you passed on that you wish you had taken? And then his examples were tourism, professional, etc. I'm guessing that the question is more just in general, like in terms of my StarCraft career. I kind of wish that I had built more inroads. I think with the StarCraft community. This is like a really complicated kind of thing to get into. I guess like fuck, I should have thought about this more before I turned this on. In terms of like my actual StarCraft career itself, I think I did most of the things that I wanted to. There was a point in my life when I was getting very, very, very good, when I was very competitive at the game with anybody in the world, I think. But it was that month that I was spending at Katz's house where I was literally hammering out, 8 hours was a short day for StarCraft, like 8 to 12-hour days every single day. This was the tournament where I beat Bomber and Startail Ace back-to-back. Admittedly, Infestors were strong, but I was really, really good with them very early on before anybody else was using them, and my mechanics were decent, and I was in a position where I could have taken advantage of that opportunity to, at least hammer out some Patrisurg wins or something, or decent finishes in tournaments, but it's that period of my life was very tumultuous. I think that's a real word. Because everything that was going on with me and Rachel and Nathan was very, very, very strange. I hated to spend any time away from Nathan. It was really, really hard for me to be away from my son for because when I was with Cats, I was with him for a month. And I don't know, it's when your kids are that young and they change so much. Like if you've got a kid that's 6 months old, that he's like a totally new dude when he's 12 months. And from 12 to 18 months, like a new dude, right? They go from you put them somewhere and they stay there to they're rolling all over the fucking room and they're eventually walking and starting to talk and shit. So any amount of time that I spent away from Nathan was excruciating to me. So I could only stay at Katz's for a month before I had to move back. And my ability to play well, is pretty heavily impacted by my home life. If I didn't have Nathan, I probably would have spent a lot more time at Katz's house, dedicated playing. Maybe I would have spent a few more months in Korea, if I had the opportunity to. But I mean, life beckons, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know if I would really call that a regret. I mean, obviously, insofar as like my StarCraft life, I would consider that to be a regret because it obviously dampened my ability to perform at the highest levels. But I mean, it's not like I would trade the time for my kid now, for having performed a little bit better in StarCraft. In terms of things that I genuinely could have done better that would make my life today probably like 5 times more profitable, maybe I would be a millionaire today, I don't know, was building more inroads into the StarCraft community. When I started streaming, my entire outlook of the world had been one of like any poor conservative, like any poor, stupid Republican, I believed that the entire world was a meritocracy, that hard work is rewarded and everybody, lives off of the merits and dies off of the lack thereof, of their work. So everything that I did was, I worked hard to build my stream up, and that's all I focused on. I wanted to have the best stream. I built the strongest stream, even without Team Liquid, featuring me on their site for so longer than any other streamer that ever had as many viewers as me. And I did that all on my own, and I was proud of it. And I thought that would mean something. That would show something. Like, well, look, I did this all on my own. I wasn't abusing connections. I wasn't, using people on teams. I wasn't a pro. I didn't have a team backing me. I didn't have a website backing me. I didn't have any big friends. It was just myself, my brain figuring out streaming stuff. Getting the software and hardware working, and that was cool. But it's a very idealistic view of the world. It just doesn't. It's just not reality. Again, I've always said in the past, you have to function in reality as it is, not as you'd want it to be. If I would have built more connections early on, I would just be positioned so much more lucratively. Whether that means building, more connections with JP or building more connections early on with DJ Wheat or In Control and the EG guys or anybody. Like I could have been positioned to take advantage of so many things. But yeah, I never did. I always did the whole merit-based thing. And I mean, I'm doing well now, and I've learned a lot of invaluable lessons that maybe I wouldn't have learned otherwise. So I'm glad that I learned them. I wish I would have had it a little bit sooner. It sounds really arrogant to say, and I don't mean to come off that way, but like I probably could have been casting, reasonably large events, like WCS related stuff or, IPL related stuff or. any of the big StarCraft tournaments. You know, like I probably should have been casting that, but I never really tried to flex those connections at all. You know, people will typically come to me if they want something, want some kind of exposure or some kind of help with something, and I usually give it, you know, happily without saying anything. But I've never really had anybody approach me in StarCraft offering me anything. It doesn't really work that way. You kind of have to take it. You have to build those connections. You got to flex those connections and then utilize it that way. I've never really had any, and I love the StarCraft community. I'm trying to shut on anybody, whatever, but I've never really had any friends in the StarCraft community that come to me like, "Hey, Destiny, here's this great opportunity." It's actually really funny now that I think about that. Really, the only two people I think that I've ever really had that have really kind of like looked out for me or have tried to help me with something are Hafu, who's given me plenty of opportunities for inroads with sponsors that she works with. I don't like most of them, not that they're bad, it's just not stuff that I felt would have been appropriate for me. She got me the month-long sponsorship with the I think the 4GG people, which was a $2,000 sponsorship to make some clips on stream. That was really nice. That was really sick. And I mean, I've never done anything for Hafu before aside from play games with it. That was really awesome. I really, really, really appreciate that. Just because I have so few, you know, like professional friends. There was Hafu, and then and Steel, funny enough, the CSGO guy that I kind of joke with on Twitter sometimes. When I met him at TwitchCon and was kind of talking to him, like it seemed like he was willing to try to connect me to a couple of things, which was really cool. Like I've never done anything for Still either, other than, you know, shit talk him on Twitter and, you know, banter around with him and whatnot. So I really appreciate I'm sorry, and I shouldn't say that. And then one more person, Kevin Knock, Cat's Pajamas in the StarCraft world, when he was working for IPL, almost had me wired up for a job working with, I think it was either with IGN or the IPL people themselves or whatever. That was a decent job, but I passed on that because I wanted to focus on streaming, and in hindsight, it was probably a good idea. But I'm trying to think. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much everybody that comes to me is usually because they want something from me, or think that they can benefit from the exposure, or whatever. I've never really had any genuine like, "Hey, Destiny, like maybe you can come and work this, or maybe you can," you know. It just doesn't seem to happen, and I've even gotten burned in the past, you know, by friends and whatnot, you know, like when I ended up not casting that MLG that I had flown to California like 4 times to guest cast for some of the Game On things with Cats. Like I ended up not casting that MLG for random reasons, and I had no idea why. Like the only reason I put in all that work because I thought I was under the impression, and I had been told that I would be casting that MLG with Cats, and it never happened. So yeah. So I guess in terms of opportunities, like I think sucking off people, building connections and inroads probably would have been better. You know, like being closer friends with Sean or you know, DJ Weed or Day9, DJ Weed, Idra, In Control, like, you know, all of these people, like building really close relationships with them and then flexing those more probably would have been better for my professional life. Maybe it would have gotten me, you know, some kind of stake in Twitch, some kind of equity that would have kept me from going to own or something. I don't know if that's true or not. It's really hard to say. But then when you look at some people that are so well connected that don't seem to do too much, but are like insanely well connected. Somebody like JP, right, who gets like fucking, this guy's probably a millionaire by now, you know, and it's just because he knows people. That's a little bit disappointing, but hey, man, you live, you learn. I make good money now. It's not like I'm not trying to give off the impression that I'm poor or in the poorhouse or anything. So the second question comes from Karl Marx. You are clearly very passionate about politics. Would you consider pursuing some form of political activism, running for mayor, anything of the sort? I'm not gonna lie. I've kind of, sort of, occasionally thought about it. But I feel like I feel like it would be too easy for me to like harpoon like a career like that. Like I would have to say like one thing, and then everything would be fucked. Or like somebody would dig up a video of me saying the N-word, or I can say that on YouTube without getting fucking banned. Or, you know, or somebody would dig up a video of me, you know, telling some kid to kill himself, and they'll be like, "Do you really want this guy mayoring your kids or whatever?" It's like, I don't fucking know. I like the I guess I like the YouTube activism more than like actually trying to run for an elected office. That would also cut a lot into my stream time as well. I don't even know. Could I even stream if I was like the mayor or like a state senator? Like, are you allowed to stream with those? I don't even fucking know. It would be funny as fuck. I mean, I would enjoy the fuck out of it to have that some kind of input there where you can be like real as fuck, like to be like a Trump-esque figure where it's like, what the fuck are we doing, guys? This is some bullshit. You know, this is some bullshit. What's going on here? I think it would be funny, but maybe when I'm older, maybe into my 30s. I don't even know where you would get like started with something like that. Like, how would you get a campaign going or an advertising thing, or do I need an exploratory I have no fucking idea. Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know, man. It would be funny. It would be funny as fuck. Maybe I will try running just so I can get invited on that Chris Baker douchebag show, that radio show, and I could shit all over him for being a fucking idiot on his Live in 10 KFAB. Maybe. One thing that's kind of tangentially related, I do wish that I had I keep trying to go. I've gone a couple times to my old high school. I would like to be involved in something. Like, I feel like I feel like I can offer. I wish I could do something with like kids. Kids. I say kids, more like teens, like high school age kids. I have I feel like I'm in a relatively unique position. Like I'm the like. I think that I can speak to values of like responsibility, like fiscally and ethically. Like being a decent person and being an educated person, and being a hard worker. I can speak to these values, but at the same time, I'm still relatively young. I'm 28, and I play video games for a living. So it's like, it sounds like a cool thing. Like, hey, we're gonna bring in Stephen Bonnell, who plays video games professionally, to talk to you guys. Like, I feel like I get a lot of credit maybe for younger people right off the bat because of something like that. It would be cool if I could use that somehow to be influential in the lives of like teens or whatever. Maybe kids that are a little bit troubled or unruly or misbehave in school. Like, maybe if they got criticism from somebody like me, you take it a little bit more seriously. Like, if it's somebody that you look up to or respect a little bit. I don't know if they would or not. Maybe they wouldn't at all. Maybe they wouldn't give a fuck. But every time I go to my old high school, they always kind of like pass me around, like, oh, we'll go talk to that dude. We'll go talk to that dude. And nobody really seems to want to do anything. So I'm always kind of like, okay, whatever. I don't know. But I feel like I would get more involved with that, with some kind of like Big Brother program or like direct mentoring program, rather than like political stuff. But I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. Who knows what the future can hold. The next question is, do you think Trump could be reelected? Fuck, I shouldn't read this. Do you think Trump could be reelected in 4 years? If not, who would replace him? I have no idea, dude. I don't know what's going to happen 4 weeks from now, let alone 4 years from now. Nobody has any idea, dude. We'll see if Trump even makes it through these 4 years. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. I'll go down to the fourth question. This is from Kosh7. Oh, that last question was from erkoggergo. Erkoggergo. Fuck this guy's name. Okay, so this question from Cash7. Whatever happened to being on the Co-optional podcast? Did Total Biscuit never get back to you? No, people have tweeted at him and wrote subreddit posts, I think, asking for me to be on, and it seems like he doesn't really respond at all, so I'm going to guess that he's just not interested. This is kind of like one of those, like, take a hint. I'm pretty sure if he was interested in me being on, it's pretty easy to reach out to me. Like, we're friends on Skype, and he could always send me a DM or whatever on Twitter. So I'm going to assume at this point that he probably just isn't very interested in me being on, which is fine. I don't even know half the shit they talk about on the Co-optional anyway, aside from when, like, political issues pop up, We'll do one more. This is from ComradeAlec. Have you ever considered streaming anything music related in the creator section on Twitch? Not really. I like playing video games. Composition would be interesting to do, but I'd have to download a DAW and start writing shit. And I don't know. Maybe maybe someday that could be like a fun stream. Actually, cracking open a DAW and like composing something would be kind of fun because it's easy to make music that I like. Like, it's very simple to do it, and I could probably talk through that process pretty well. Maybe someday. Yeah, that's good for now. I appreciate the questions. I'll include a link to the next Monday Mail, number 30, in the description below. Thanks a lot, guys. I'll see you later. Peace out.